go. Okay. Okay. Dan, are you back on the call yet? Great. Dan Medwin, you're there?
Yes.
Okay, good. I heard your voice from far off. So, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and start. I think that Barbara Seidel will join us soon, and I'm hoping that Cindy Janauer will call us as well. First of all, I want to thank you all very, very much for being able to share some time with us today and hopefully in the months to come as we launch the Knowledge Network Advisory Group, or as I like to call it in short, the KNAG, or I guess you could say the NAG if you want to keep the K silent. That's up to you. But I'm thrilled that you all agreed to help us out with the advisory group. And before we really dive into the business of the day, I think it would be really helpful for us to all just get a sense of who is on the call. If anybody has a webcam that you haven't turned on, it would be great to please turn that on so we could say hello. But would like to just go around and have everybody introduce themselves so we know who all is here. And we have Dan Medwin with us, and L. We have Paul. Hello, it's great to see you both. So I will just start with myself and just let's introduce ourselves, where we're from, and kind of how we think we got pulled into all of this. So as I think you all know me, my name is Larry Glickman. I'm the director of the Knowledge Network for the URJ. I'm on the call today from New York. I'm here 1 week a month. I actually most times work out of my home in the Chicago area. And I've been working for the URJ now for about 6 months. And before that, I was a Temple Executive Director for about 10 years. And actually, my college degree, if you want to go back that far, is in photography and film. And I was working in the publishing industry for about 12 years before I got into this work. So that's just a little bit about myself. How about you, Michael? You're next. You're next on my list, my friend.
Okay, thanks, Larry, and hello, everyone. Michael Belkin. I'm the Chief Information Officer at the URJ, working out of the New York office. I would say I'm Larry's partner in crime when it comes to running and managing the tent. And really, my primary responsibility when it comes to that platform is the technical support. And I'm sure we'll talk more about supporting users, which is a responsibility that Larry and I share.
Great, great. Thank you very much. My friend Debbie Coutant could not be on the call, but she will remain with our group. She is actually a former executive director herself from the Northern California area. She worked for congregations for about 10 years, and before that worked for companies like Apple and Google and different things like that. So she's going to bring a wealth of expertise to our work, and it'll be great to have her involved. Barry Epstein, are you still on the phone?
Yes, I am.
You want to introduce yourself real quick for us?
Okay. I guess by background, electrical engineer and primarily inventor. My association with the URJ began a long time ago, and making a long story short, after I was done with my term as president of the temple, were like those before me and many after me, we wondered, what is this thing called UAHC at that time, and why do they keep bothering us? So I think a challenge was, as I began to get involved with the URJ, I recognized the wealth of material that was there, the wealth of expertise, and felt it's so important to find a way to bring that across to local temple leadership, who I still consider basically our clients, and do it in a way that we treat them as our customers, recognizing they change every 2 years and so forth. And that eventually led to the concept of Communicate. And I guess I would say basically I spearheaded Communicate, and I'm pleased that it really has made a lot of lay people feel a part of the URJ and recognize what URJ is. I guess at that time I was about the only somewhat technical person within UAHC, so I got involved with their very fledgling computer systems at that time, and that's about it.
Okay, great, great. Well, we're thrilled that you're here and can help steer this group. Um, and Rabbi Dan Medwin. Hello, Rabbi Dan Medwin.
I, Dan Medwin. I work for the CCAR. I'm the Publishing Technology Manager. Rabbi by training, but technologist at heart.
Good, good. And I've only gotten to know Dan in the last few months, and we are working with the CCAR to bring them into the tent. And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. You helped to create the Mishkan Tefillah app that is out there for iPads and such now.
Yep. Yeah. Part of my work is apps and ebooks and things for the CCAR, so that was a big piece of it.
Great, great. Well, we're thrilled that you're here. Al Leopold. Hello there, sir.
Hi there, I'm Elliot Paul. I've been on the URJ board for probably 5 years now. I'm out here in Seattle. I work for Microsoft, and a 4-minute conversation with Michael a few years ago said, hey, you guys should get in this Office 365 pilot, and let's see if we can figure out how to do that. And fortunately, it all turned out, and I'm here to help. And so at Microsoft, I do business development for cloud computing with large partners.
Great, great. Well, I'm thrilled that you're here, and you're on the North American board as well, correct? Great.
Right.
Great. Don Mashori, are you still on the phone?
I am. Thank you, Larry. So I'm Don Mashori. I'm Vice President with MPS Partners and one of the founders. We're a Microsoft consulting company. We deploy SharePoint and Office 365 for lots of our customers. I was also a member at Temple Chi, where Larry was the executive director. Kind of bringing my my work life and my spiritual life together. I thought this was a great area for me to maybe offer some help in.
Great, great. Well, Don, we're thrilled that you're here. And in fact, Elliot, you should know that Don is at a Microsoft conference in Redmond as we speak. So you might just be down the street. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm actually at the CIO Summit, Elliot.
At where?
Okay.
The US CIO Summit today.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, and Jane, you've been waiting so patiently for us.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jane Taves. I'm a member of the URJ North American Board, and my connection to the Knowledge Network is that I am one of 2 core partners, which is a lay leader role to connect board members with members of the senior leadership team. And so I'm one of the 2 core partners to Barbara Seidel in the area of the Knowledge Network, which makes me also a partner of Larry in the area of the Knowledge Network. My connection to technology, I'm retired now about 7 years, but what I did before that was I was one of the people who started in the late 1970s and worked with a healthcare software company for all those years. So a lot of software development, company called Epic Systems, who may be the people containing a lot of your health records as we speak today. So it was quite a wild ride, and I'm retired now about 7 years.
Great, great. And also your partner in helping us on the board, Cindy Janauer from the Boston area, who serves on the board and helps to support the Knowledge Network department. I know she's on the road right now, so she said she was going to try to call in. So I hope that she will, but if not, she serves with this group as well, as does Barbara Seidel, the Chief Operating Officer of the URJ, who has a very full day here, but will join us if she can. So thank you all very much for that. Just good to know who is on the call. So before we get into the tent, I want to first make sure everybody knows kind of what the Knowledge Network is and how we got to where we are at now. When the URJ did its most recent restructuring, Michael Belkin, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years ago, correct? Oh, and here is Barbara Seidel right now.
I'm so sorry I couldn't. Firstly, I'm sorry I'm late, everybody. But secondly, I couldn't launch Meeting.
Okay, so I don't know. They can't see you yet, but
That's
you can
okay.
just
They
come
don't
in
need
and
to
say
see
hi.
me. They know what I
So
look
Barbara,
Okay,
once we
so
get you
I-
guys
Those
on
who
link,
don't
you
will
won't have
soon
that
find
problem
out.
anymore.
Okay, can you hear us okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Can somebody talk? Because I'm not sure that I can hear you.
Hello,
I can't
testing.
hear you. Just 1 second.
We can.
1 second. I'm
You have
sorry.
to choose another microphone and then your headset. I'm sorry to do
No,
this
that's
to you.
okay. 1 second. Internal speakers. That should do it. Okay. You know what? I can't.
That's okay.
Unplug
Okay,
the
so I'm going to plug
headset.
my headphone back in. I'm going to resend the invitation to you. Would that help?
Well,
Okay.
never mind. You'll just tell me what.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes, we can hear
I
you.
don't think that I can hear you still, but I'm going to do my best here. Yeah, I can't. It was going so well up until now, but for some reason I can't. I can't.
It's Barbara's
you.
arrival.
Oh, well.
Somehow messed up the
No.
technology.
Okay, so I know that Michael Belkin is probably making some crack about Macintosh computers, but that's okay. I can tell by the look on his face. So please, if you have a comment to make, please use the chat box. And if anybody on the phone has a comment to make, perhaps somebody who can hear them can type a note into the chat box. So during the last during the last restructuring of the URJ, we created the Knowledge Network as a way for people to get answers to the questions that they had. And these could be anybody from leaders in congregations to, as we say, the Jews in the pew. We have a 1-800 phone number they can call. We have an email address that they can write into as well. And we have a staff who is here to respond to those inquiries that come in. We have Judy Ratner, who works out of our Dallas, Texas office, and we have Robin Riegelhout, who works out of the offices here in New York, and we have Debbie Joseph as well, who works out of her home in Gainesville. Michael Belkin just said, if you like, make me the organizer. That's a wonderful idea. Here we go.
You still can't hear
No.
them. Try this.
Okay, you should
Try
be the
this.
presenter
That's
now.
why I brought this.
Are you the presenter yet, Michael? Okay, I still can't
Yeah, I think
hear
I'm one
you.
of your co-presenters.
Wait, I think I got it.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, okay. Hello?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm still going to talk. I still can't hear.
See if this one.
Okay.
Oh, the speaker
Oh,
on
it's
the
a speaker.
microphone.
Just 1 second. 1 sec. Oh, wait, I think I hear something.
Hello.
Now I hear you, yes. Okay, great. I don't know what you did, but it worked. Okay, so I'm just going to roll right on. So our staff is here to help to respond to the calls that come in, and they've been doing a great job. We keep track of all of the calls that come in our CRM software that we have, and we save all of the resources that we have shared as well through the years. But one of the plans all along was to also have a place where the leaders of the reform movement can go to do this work themselves, to communicate with others in the reform movement themselves, to share resources themselves as well. So you could either call us or you could go on to the technology platform of the Knowledge Network that we built, and we are calling this technology platform the Tent. Why the Tent? we wanted the name of our technology platform to evoke a place that you go, a place where you go to learn, a place that you go to share, a place where you go to feel welcomed by the community at large, and a place where you can communicate as well. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay, and this may mess us up again, but or I guess you could bring the site up on your machine, Michael, if you want, to show everybody what the 10th looks like.
One second, Larry.
Yeah, okay. So as you all know, this site was built in Microsoft SharePoint, and it's also intended to replace all of our Shamash listservs. And this is this listserv technology has been used by the reform movement for years, and is really the way that many of our leaders have communicated through the years. And the person who runs that is really in the process of trying to slowly shut that down. So not only will this serve the needs of the whole knowledge network piece, but it will replace these listservs as well. So there's still a lot of branding work that's going to be done. But Michael, could you go to the NADA site? So this is, I want to share this with you. This is a site that's really, unless you have the rights to see this, you are not going to see this. This is a group that is, this is a site that is private to only the NADA group. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail right now as to what's here, but this was a site that we built for them, where the professionals of NADA could go and talk, where they could share resources as well. And what you see on this page as we scroll down is just in chronological order, a list of the current conversations that are happening on this site and all the replies that have been made. And if you want to click on one of those, Michael, that has a lot of replies.
Any particular one you prefer?
I don't care. They're all good as far as I'm concerned. So you just need to click on the link that brings you to the body of the conversation itself. And as you scroll down, you see a lot of social networking aspects to this. We really see who is making these posts, who is sharing these comments along the way. And if they want to, they could also share, if you click on somebody's name, you go to their user profile and you can learn more about them. And it's slowly coming up. So that's about David Lambden. He's an executive director in Florida, in Miami somewhere, I believe. And let's go back and look at the resource libraries real quick too. These are the resource libraries that we have that are going to be on each site. And this is where you can just load things that you want to share, things that have worked well for you, things that you think might help somebody else. And if you were to click on the ... for a Word file, not a PDF file, click on the ... you're going to see what that resource looks like, and you can share it from there. You can edit it from there if you wish. And let's just do a quick search. I want to really quickly show how the search works. Why don't you punch in the word dues? I find that brings up some good stuff. So search in this is really great. And as we scroll down the list of search results, we always see a preview of whatever that search result is. And we can use one of the search refiners on the left side of the screen to really bring down those search results to just what we want. So we can refine that search by size of congregation, by name of congregation, by date that resource was shared, and you can really bring it down to a really manageable number of search results. So that this will be a really useful tool as well. So far, in the grand scheme of things, we have launched 2 sites so far. We have launched the NADA site, which is a closed site, and we have launched the Smalltalk site as well, and that's more of an open site to anybody who represents smaller congregations. This site excuse me, this site we have not seen become as robust as the NADA site has so far, but we still have high hopes here, and this is a group that didn't want to see their listserv go away. So we've been really trying to work with them to make sure they understand how this technology works and how much it could help them. And we have seen activity on this site grow a little more week by week, month by month. So what we're trying to do first is to launch a number of private and semi-private sites in the tent. We're not so much trying to move the listservs here as we are trying to accommodate all of our affiliate and partner organizations in the reform movement. So we've launched these two sites. We are working with the PDRJ, which is the Program Directors of Reform Judaism, with the American Conference of Cantors, with the ECERJ, with the Early Childhood Educators, the CCAR. We want to bring the Conference of Presidents online soon, and the Oversight Committee for the North American Board of the URJ. So those are the big sites that we have in the pipeline right now, and we're also beginning to frame out what some open sites might look like. Again, not trying to recreate the Shabbat listserv that we had or the Oneg Shabbat listserv that we had, but to build some sites that are going to represent what people want to talk about, not only having to do with congregational life, but with Reform Judaism as well. So that if you're in the tent, you can join those sites, or you can just stay in the private group that we set up for you. I know I've been sharing a lot here, and I want to just pause real quick and see if anybody has any questions or comments at this point. I'm not hearing a peep, which is good. No, it's not good. Please feel free to interrupt me as we go along here. And I really want to make sure that we address whatever questions or concerns you may have at this point.
Hey, Larry, it's Elliot. One area that came up earlier was, do you have a plan yet for all the sites that you want? So I'll just, because I'm involved with camp, for example.
Yeah.
Is it like they'll be in wave 6 and keep using what you're using, or we're dealing with the ones we have now and we'll get back to you later, or somewhere in between?
It's a little bit in between those two. We would love for all of these organizations throughout the reform movement to join us in the tent. We don't want to assume that they will. Some, for whatever reason, may opt out. So due to that fact, due to the fact that there's a certain bandwidth that the staff at the URJ has, to launch a site is a really time consuming piece of work, and it's one thing to build the site, then we have to get all of the user accounts set up as well. So right now we have about 10 sites that we plan to launch, hopefully by the end of the calendar year, by the end of January, somewhere in there. And then we hope to be able to reach out to more groups as time goes on. But there's a few more groups that I didn't talk about yet. But beyond those groups, we would look forward to getting the bulk of these first groups launched, and then we can get to the next stage.
Okay.
Okay.
You're probably going to need a good standard answer at biennial.
Yeah.
Because when people are going to come by, they're going to say, "I'm in the blah 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 committee. When can we get on?"
Right.
You might want to think about self-provisioning scenarios where you get them started and then they own the rest of it themselves. Because I know, like adding users and all that kind of stuff there.
Yeah.
So as opposed to, Michael's staff having to be involved in, particularly the ones that are less structured, but something to think about. Because you're going to get a wave. It's going to go in this hockey stick. You're going to get a few, and then everyone's going to want, because they're going to want to see everything else, and they're going to want to know why. I want to know about something else, and I'd love to go to one place to get that. So
yeah,
that's what we see at Microsoft. I mean, when we launched Yammer, after we bought the company, nobody used it, and then eventually a bunch of teams started to use it, and then there's a lot of pressure for people to continue to add more groups, more content kind of deal there, and it's pretty much self-provisioning, but that's for all high tech here.
Well,
anyway, so.
Right now, we do all of this work ourselves. We do work with an IT company as well that Michael has been working with for quite some time. But I know, and I don't want to speak for him, so I know this is a very time-consuming process right now, Michael. But where might this go next?
So, I think in part the reason for a fairly labor-intensive process of setting up users to the new sites is the fact that we decided upfront that user profiles on SharePoint should be synchronized to a significant degree with the information we have for those same people in our internal systems. So it would be you combine that with some lack of automation that for the time being we're hampered by on the Office 365 platform, and that's rapidly changing, but it's not there yet. And that makes the process of self-setup pretty much impossible given the current state of affairs. Would it be something that we would like to implement? Absolutely, and take this off of our plate and our shoulders, by all means, but it's not in the offing for right now.
Okay.
Could you subcontract it, though? I mean, if you got these firms that you'll deal with, could you say, for $6,000, you can get, this. Here's a package. Contact them. They'll do this, this, and this. They know all our standards, those kind of stuff there. So if somebody's really anxious to get on, and I have no idea what the cost would be and what the impact would be. Yeah.
It's certainly worth discussing, Elliot, and we'll do that because it is very much a pressing concern for all of us in general, because we want to improve and increase the pace at which we're bringing sites up on the platform, and that is an obstacle to doing so.
This is really to save Barbara. This is to save Barbara from getting up at the URJ board meeting and saying, we have the site live and we have 12 communities. And somebody asks, well, how many communities should be on there? And she'll say, I don't know, 300. And they'll say, why aren't all 300 on? And then the conversation will go sideways from there. As opposed to, here's 12, and if you want your group to be able to get on there, this is what it would take. So maybe by December we can have an approach that, or just it is what it is, and it's going to take a long time. I think we need to manage
Point well taken. We'll figure out what the right message is.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all about saving face for Barbara, right?
Right.
Then it goes right to the top of Larry's and mine lists.
Exactly. So one and that's a great concern. The other thing we're trying to deal with right now is in recognition of the fact that the tent, everything in the tent, is going to be behind a username and password wall. And so if you do any search outside of the tent, just on Bing, for instance, then anything that's in the tent will not come up as a search result. So you're going to need to have a username and password to use the tent at all. So who do we invite into the tent? And are there opportunities to monetize the tent? And if we do that, who gets in at no cost? And what opportunities might there be that this could be a profit center for the URJ at some point? The direction that we're moving in now is that, of course, URJ staff will be in, and our affiliate and partner organizations as well. But then how deep do we go on congregation boards? How deep do we go into congregations themselves for folks who may want to get into the tent? Do we entertain the idea of going outside the URJ, outside of the reform movement? And if so, what does that look like? So we're beginning to talk about some of those ideas, and soon I will have some more information to share with you on that, some more thoughts about where this could go. But when we first launched this, we were dealing with a lot of licensing issues. How many did we have, and how much did they cost? And Michael, I would love for you to speak about that point. And if we have a limited number of licenses to use, how do we deal with them?
So, as anything else in the world of IT, there is more than one answer. We started out with what's called a Microsoft donation, which is what Microsoft has made available to nonprofit corporations. So we got 3,000 licenses, free licenses to the Office 365 platform, which included access to SharePoint. Early in the days of the tent, we thought that going over that limit, or over that threshold, was going to be problematic, and that if we needed to do so, then we would need to be paying for those licenses. As we had discovered, that limit is not a hard limit, and we were indeed able to procure more than 3,000 licenses. We're now at 3,500, and the reason we did 500 as opposed to an extra 1,000 or 2,000 is simply because we wanted to experiment, not because we needed those extra licenses quite yet. So in our discussions with the SharePoint group at Microsoft, we believe that we have the information that we can grow the site for up to 10,000 licenses, which we can have for free. This is in addition to licenses for the staff, which by choice we decided to upgrade to a paid-for license, also at a very attractive rate for nonprofits. A full enterprise suite of products from Microsoft is going to cost us $5 per user per month, and that is a separately counted set of licenses in addition to the free ones that we're using for the tent. If and when it comes to needing to grow to over 10,000 users, this is where, as we approach that threshold, I think we're going to have a conversation with Microsoft and see what the policy is at that time and the practical limitations of the platform, if any. I, at the moment, do not have information to share with you as to what happens when we indeed reach or breach that threshold.
Michael, do you have in writing the 10,000 number from Microsoft?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Was Jeff with paper involved?
Jeremy, all of a sudden his last name is Masner. Yeah, he's been Jeff's appointed person to work with the URJ, has been tremendously helpful in many respects, and sort of we have his watchful eye over what we do, and he's ready to jump in as necessary.
Okay, so I think that's a one unique kind of scenario. There's one person who runs the SharePoint organization. I think he may be president now of one of our congregations. So Tomorrow he may be pulled off that job. So I think we need to have that in writing. One suggestion is, even though we get to 10,000 free, we may want to think about monetizing it earlier than that. We may want to go, think about our congregations with our 1.5 million users. Not all of them are that active in the congregation, but you could easily envision 100,000 or something like that. We may want to be, I got to believe they would rather build on the back of our platform, and I'm not talking SharePoint, I'm talking about the tent, to build their own sites in their own communities in order to do that. And maybe, I think Barbara and I and Michael, we talked about that, is based upon your being current on your mom and the size of your congregation and what kind of money you get a certain number. And it should be a good enough number to cover your staff based upon, we know enough about congregations. But if a congregation decides that they want to use this as opposed to build it themselves, they've got a couple of options. They can now buy the Office 365 at $5 a month. They won't get exempted because it's a religious organization. But if they're in your organization, we could be ethically consistent and still charge them the $5, but host the platform for them. And it's the same back-end platform from a server perspective. It's no bearing on us because it's fully scalable. And then we can drive consistency if we could figure out how to onboard, to get back to the other problem of how do you onboard these individual ones without it being a burden on the organization. Then you can grow exponentially. You're not limited by money coming in to get beyond the 10,000 limit.
Right. So what makes the conversation even more intriguing is that I believe we've seen this officially announced as well, that Microsoft has relaxed some of its donation restrictions regarding religious organizations and is now making those licenses available to churches and synagogues and the like.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, so this is sort of a changing environment, and my understanding is that this is possibly in response to Google doing that about a year and a half ago. They've announced a similar change in policy. So Microsoft is doing this really. We have congregations that are very excited about the opportunity to get on board. So let's say for a moment that they can. Then there's a question of federated access to the platform. In terms of being able to have your own tenancy on Office 365 and yet participate in the URJ tenancy from a content and collaboration perspective. We don't have a good answer to that yet, at least not in some preliminary discussions that we've had with Sue Hanley, who's our consultant advising us on how to build out the platform. But that, these things will come to a head, and if anything, they are input to the discussion of monetizing the platform, the timing, and the policy.
Right. Yeah. Don, do you have any knowledge there?
Ooh.
I know we may be in the.
Sorry. Yeah. No. Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. No. I was listening to the conversation,
Yeah.
And I'm not a licensing expert, but I like that idea. I mean, I do. What I've seen when companies take Office 365 licenses and then, in essence, go resell that to their customers, they bundle it in many creative ways. It's not always that per user per month kind of bundle. It may be part of, and you mentioned the dues that the temple pays. And it could be a benefit that's a part of any other type of financial arrangements that you have. So I know that there's ways that you can resell that, and then you become kind of the point of management for the overall user base. I can certainly look into that more for you if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, that part we're fairly sure about. The question that Michael brought up was about this federation kind of deal. Because think of the scenario. You've got a .urj or urj.net URL or alias, and now I get another one for my synagogue. I want to be able to federate information between the two. I don't think we can do that with Office 365. And the better answer may be, I've got two now, right? I got a Microsoft one and I've got a URJ one. In the short run, that may be better than moving content back and forth. But
right.
I don't know. Is there things going on that you know, Dawn, about federation between different domains of content, so I can log in under one and get content on the other?
You know what? I can find out. I have a client that we're dealing with right now, in fact, because they have one domain that is their primary domain, but they want to have a secondary domain that's for one of their subsidiaries. And I've got guys on my staff that are trying to figure that out for them right now. I can certainly get you in. I can get back an answer. I don't have an answer to how to do it, but I can find out.
So, Donna, this is somewhat off subject, and I'm happy to share this with you privately or with your client. We certainly do that. We have multiple domains on our tenancy. The question is more about independent tenancies, so a URJ tenancy on Office 365 and a congregational tenancy on Office 365, and being able to federate and collaborate across those. But multi-domains are actually done relatively easily, and if you'd like to reach out to me privately, I'd be happy to do that.
Right.
It's more of a SharePoint concern than it is a Active Directory. I hate to get technical around this kind of stuff, but
you're right.
You know,
do we take you off topic here?
A little bit, but that's fine. That's fine.
You wanted us to talk, Larry. So
look, please. I've been involved in temple life for years. I'm used to it. It's fine. So one of the things I'm really, and this is the exact type of thing that I'm going to be looking towards this advisory group to help us through. If and how do we monetize the tent? How do we encourage use of Office 365 at the congregational level, and then encourage them to build sites in SharePoint as well? How long do we keep an inactive user online with us, and what really constitutes an inactive user? You know, it's one thing for somebody to have a license and come into the tent every day and read what's been going on and look at the resources that have been shared. Is that enough, or what if we don't see any proof that they've made any comment or shared anything for 2 years? Do we want to take that seat back from them? And how do we kind of keep an eye on that? Because I can see where we really can quickly lose our grip on how many licenses we've used. Not that we wouldn't know, but are they being put to good use or not? And what is good use? How do we define those things? And what if we build a site? What if we build it and nobody comes? What if we build a site and it really is not used that much? What criteria do we put in place to determine whether we keep that site online or whether we take it down? And is there harm in keeping an inactive site online? These are the things that I really look for. These types of things are the things that I look forward to being able to work through with this group. And the very first thing that I'm going to need to do is to explore who gets in, and if we charge anybody at all, how is that done? Is that tied into mum dues? Is it not tied into mum dues? What does that all mean? And I have already written down some thoughts, which I will be more than happy to share with the group very soon. So how does that sound? And any other thoughts or comments at this point?
Larry, this is Barry.
Yeah, Barry.
Going back to where I was coming from, and you know, the pain we've had in the past to build relations with the congregations. I think honestly, if we started to charge for this, and this goes back to questions I asked Barbara the very first time we talked about this, I think we're going to be accused, we could be accused of people who, because they don't understand the software, they don't understand the complexity to it, they don't understand the cost behind it. I think we're going to be accused of nickel and diming very quickly, and the question of, what are they giving us for our mum dues now, or what are they not giving us?
Right.
And those were extreme questions, and I think they can be again. I would be very concerned about that.
No. And
if it's an outside group, or if we're building a site for somebody.
Right. And the plan that I'm going to share with you, it really acknowledges the fact that most of the leaders of our congregations are going to be able to get into the tent for free through the organizations that they are affiliated with. It's really
defined user. Could that
I'm,
be 30 people on a board and committee chairs? I mean, if I look at our committee chairs and
it
all
wouldn't
the
be that much, but it would be like a good anyway. It depending on the staff. Look, all of the rabbis are going to be in for free. All of the cantors are going to be in. Most of the what we would call executive staff will be in the tent for free. The executive VPs, uh, presidents, and immediate past will probably be in through PressCon. So there will be lots of ways for folks to get in. We could give more free seats than that as well, just to get these congregations online. What I'm really seeing where we might need to charge, where there would be a real above and beyond cost to us, is if they wanted us to set up a site just for their board. Is if they wanted us to set up a site just for their congregation. That's where
I understand that, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But if I even go back to what you've said, half of the people you mentioned, I would say, are out of the decision process in terms of the budget and the dues. You know, I'm going to say that, you know, take the clergy and the executive director, staff, and so forth out of that, and that goes back to problems we had so long ago in building the relationship. You know, it's the new membership chairman who tonight wants to find what they want, and they live in the I want what I want when I want it area today with you know, DVRs and so forth. I think we got to be very careful not to alienate people like that or make the steps so difficult that they don't feel there's a value here.
Right. So why don't I do this? Why don't I share with you the plan that I've come up with? And let me share it with you as a draft. Let me share it with you as the beginning of a conversation. The plan that I've come up with is just an idea at this point. So I would really look forward to getting your feedback on this and seeing where this conversation might go. Does that sound like it would work, Barry?
Yeah, and I hate to sound obstinate. I'm thinking of scars we have. You know.
No. Look. We really need to rely on all that you've learned through the years. You've really taken the URJ through a lot of these steps before. So please don't be shy. Please. Dan, we haven't heard from you. How does this all sound to you? I don't mean to catch you off guard, but I am.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think there are a number of factors. You know, one of the things that I'm concerned about, especially for the rabbis, is the shift or the transition from the listserv.
Yeah.
And how comparable it will be in functionality and ease of use. You know, and how that transition is going to happen if we're just going to try to slowly bring people over and they'd use both for a little while, if we're just going to pick a date and shut down the listserv and get it over.
We find that using both at the same time has not worked that well. And I'll be very frank with you as to the complaint that we've heard absolutely the most so far. I love the listservs. I didn't have to do a thing. I sent an email out and the email came back. And that is the biggest concern from those that really haven't used the tent that much so far. So there are alerts that we can and have set up quite a bit that really does deliver the content to you straight to your email box. And we're looking into ways to have those alerts already set up when we first set up the accounts. We're not there quite yet, but the alerts are not hard to set up. And once that alert is in place, boom, you get everything. And so you could respond to it straight from there, and you could see the whole conversation with one click of your mouse. But that's the main hurdle that we have in place right now.
Yeah, and not to get too specific, but is there a digest form of those alerts, or
Yes.
they come?
You can
Great.
choose. You can choose.
Okay.
You can do it an email for each update, or one each day, or one each week. It's up to you. So
On a very different note,
please.
and this is something I was wondering based on an earlier point you made. Is this going to be a central address for someone, some STOM, person looking to learn more about Reform Judaism? Are they welcome to create a login and a password and enter a sort of general area, or is that something different? And this is really sort of an internal
Right.
place.
Sure. This is a site being designed for the leaders of Reform Judaism. We also have our reformjudaism.org site, which was launched in the last year by the URJ, and that's really designed for people who are trying to learn more, things that they can look up. But this is really designed as a destination site for those who are doing the work of the reform movement.
Great.
Okay, so I will send this information out. Also want to have a brief talk about how often we should have these calls. I was thinking every month, every 6 weeks, along that time frame. But if that's too much or not enough, please let me know. Any thoughts on that?
Sounds fine.
Okay, so I'll try to get one more call in before the biennial, which is December what, Michael? December 8th, 4th, 6th, something like that. It's nearby
The
there.
10th is a Tuesday. The board meets on Tuesday.
Thank you, Elliot. So in the meantime, I want to really express my deep appreciation for your help and your time. And there's lots of good work to be done here, and I really look forward to working with all of you. And I will email this out, and I really look forward to trying to resolve some of these larger issues that we have. Okay?
Thank you, Larry.
So thank you all very, very much, and I really look forward to talking to you again soon.
Larry, do you have to run?
No, I can stay on.
Because I owe you. I'm behind on a deliverable for you, so maybe we could talk through that.
Okay. Did you get the note that I sent to you?
Yeah, I missed it earlier, but we don't need to share that. We don't share that with everybody.
That's fine. Well, I can't stay on the call without Michael on the call as well, which is fine with me. But
really?
Yeah, because he.
No, you can. I'm just the presenter, so I will bow out right now, and you guys should be fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it is, then we'll get it replaced with technology that can do that.
There you go.
Which is included in your Office 365.
Right, I know. Link, I know. Yeah. So, okay, so I did send that note, and it was just a note to ask for a few Microsoft Surfaces and perhaps a large screen display as well.
I assume you want this. Hold on, let me bring it up. So,
well, and look,
here's what I'm thinking. They should be able to. Here's what happened at another conference. It was one of our partner conferences. The local. Hey, you know what I'll do? Wait, hold on. Let me start my webcam so you can see me over here.
There you are.
I get off because my screen is not in the same place there.
Yeah.
One of the things that at that conference is the local Microsoft Office